This is my war, and this is my battleground. It doesn't look much like you'd think a war would, but a president declared it. He's dead. But they tell us that the war is going on. Strange. How quiet is the fighting? I didn't enlist in this fight. I came to watch it. Trouble was, I found myself behind the enemy lines, waiting for an invasion that hasn't come. I walk these streets, listen to the sounds. If you believe what you hear, we're up against a ruthless opponent. His name is Poverty, but he's better known as Fear. This poverty war is under your noses, yet I don't think you're aware of it. This is the north side, a stone's throw across the Allegheny from your Golden Triangle. Good many of you drive through my battleground twice each day. In from your comfortable suburbs in the morning, back to the safety of your home front each night. You don't see it. Even if you cared enough to stop, I couldn't show it to you, not all of it. I could show you broken down homes, litter-filled yards, men with nothing to do each day but wait for tomorrow. But to really know it, you have to listen to it. It speaks with a voice born out of frustration, hopelessness, and fear. How much of it is true? How much is rumor and hearsay? It's hard to tell. But you hear it over and over until it begins to have the ring of truth.
I've heard of gangs of boys taking girls up on a hill and taking turns on her and just stand, most of them stand by, or boys hold them down. They do it forcibly too. Or girls could get drunk and they don't know what they're doing, so they take her up on a hill too and rape her. Or a lot of, there's other girls that will do it willingly, and we call them pigs, but they take her and or in the car ride, or take them in the dark park at night or something. And the boys just let it go in gangs and sniff glue, or take dope, or get drunk, drink a lot. And I feel the most that I don't get drunk one night or end up on the hill with a bunch of boys. Or that if I'm walking in a dark alley or something, that someone's going to grab me or rape me or kill me because they'll be afraid I'll tell or something like that. It could happen to anybody, even the nicest person would think, well, it's never going to happen to me. But anyone could just come in the dark and night and everything and grab you and just rape you, and you wouldn't be able to tell who it was or get away. They might just kill you so you won't tell.
What is poverty? It's a way of life that pulls you down to its level. It's like a sewer. When you get down to the bottom of it and the flood hits, you go right with it. A teenage boy said to me, "Today is Thursday. I ate slop this morning. 10 years from now, I'll still eat slop." They sense a hopelessness about their way of life. They're born into it. They grow up with it. They see no escape from it. You hear about speakeasies. Something out of Eliot Ness in the 20s? Try 1964. Try Liverpool Street, Pennsylvania Avenue, Franklin. But don't try to go in there if you're not known, they tell you. Unwelcome guests have been known to end up on the wrong end of a baseball bat. You hear about house socials, a private party in a private home. The cover charge is usually $25, and the friendly bar inside is for anyone who can bear the freight. Age doesn't matter. A private party with drinks, smokes, cards, or just about anything, cash and carry. You hear stories that should be shocking. teenage prostitution, muggings, robberies, bootlegging. But the people aren't shocked. They seem numbed into silent acceptance of their fate. They do not cry out in anger. Fear makes them silent partners.
Well, the reason I don't believe, I believe they don't report crimes in the area is because probation is so easy to get. A charge is pretty hard. It's pretty hard to make it stick. But you know, you understand what I'm talking about. I mean, in the courts they want everything so specific. Now, this boy or this man can get out on probation or a heavy fine, and you're it. I mean, for you, they call you a rat or a fink or something for reporting them stealing, knocking somebody down. You know it's wrong. You turn them in. They go down there, they spend a couple of days, they're out in the street. Now, there you are. You're walking, next thing you know, there come a car pretty close to you. These streets here are pretty narrow. The back streets anyhow, a lot of us go home that way. You know, shortcuts. The guy comes a little bit too close to you. I mean, that, you know what that means. You understand that. I mean, they're not out to really get you that time. But those same ones, they're generally troublemakers in this neighborhood, and that's the one that you know. Anything else you see, buddy, forget it, because they can get you. And where the police at? I mean, police are way down, or say 2 miles from here. You try to get a call, no one's going to let you come in their home to make a call to the police to come here, because they know they get the telephone number, the address of the place the phone call came from, and they're not going to get involved. More than likely, they're peddling moonshine, or something's going wrong. There are a lot of numbers going on in that house, and they're going to have no law running around their house. So you're out there by yourself. Best thing you do is try to keep yourself in the clear. If you see anything you want to report it, you better do it as secretly as you can.
The disease is poverty. But poverty is a word you rarely hear on the North Side. You hear it by other words, like not enough work, too many people out of jobs. The housing is run down, the rent's too high. $95 a month will buy a 3-room apartment with most of the plaster still on the walls. Absentee landlords, a problem for any poor neighborhood. Owners who squeeze the last drop of human dignity from a welfare check until the people begin to resemble the rubble they live in. You ask those who could why they don't move out. One man tells you he feels fenced off. When he tries to rent, they ask him where he lives. When he tells them, the place is not available. The community marks him as if it were branded on his forehead. North Side, no vacancy. You'll hear it said that you can take the people out of the slums, but you can't take the slums out of the people. I don't believe that. But some of these people have never learned how to live. Many have never known the luxury of a bathroom. The disease is poverty, all right, but the symptoms are broken homes, alcoholics, crime, violence, and fear. What's it like to be a parent? If you're a parent who cares, and too many of them don't, you have problems.
Well, to begin with, as far as raising children here on the North Side, it's just impossible. Well, the way I feel as far as, well, when they go out, you just really don't know where they're at, what they're doing. You don't know who they're with. They might be a person, a girl. She may be a prostitute. And they're all very young ones, believe me. Not only that, there's this glue smoking, and that going around, and smoking these marijuanas. And then even diamond number writing, believe me. You'd be surprised just how many times I've asked these kids to go out and pick up these numbers for these guys. But, and as far as recreation, they have none at all. None whatsoever. They're in the alley and they're playing. They're told to leave the alley. They're not allowed to play football. If they get down in the park, they don't play football because the regular teams down there, which they do have teams down there, they're in the way, so they don't know what else to do. They can back up in the corner and they loaf. Next thing you know, the cops come and get going. They just don't know where to go. The next thing you know, they decide, well, let's just take a walk. The next thing you know, it may be picking up a car still on it, going out for a good ride. And they go, well, they'll park it and they'll come back to it later on. Next thing you know, why, the kid is really in trouble. You ask them why they did it? Nothing to do. I don't have nothing to do. I have nothing to keep my mind occupied. I have no money. I can't go nowhere. And if I did have it, I wouldn't have enough to take care of the needs today. It costs a lot of money, so there you are. You just can't win for losing regardless which way you go.
We don't know even how to even go about stopping that white slavery that's in this area. We don't even know who to go to, and as I talked to the sex squads, narcotics and sex squads, and they said that unless those people are actually having a loud party or something, there's nothing you can do. So they get a foothold in this area, and when we know anything, the whole area is polluted. And that's what happened with this female impersonator. There was just only one. Now there's 3 or 4, I forget exact memory, but at least 4 houses. We didn't have that before. And if we let this white slavery thing come in here, then that means we're going to have more trouble with our own group that's already in here. And it's a thing that it has to have they have to be breaking the law before the law can go in to to even investigate it. There's nothing that we could do. We're just bogged down.
Well, in my opinion, it's pretty tough. I mean, what it's like to rear them. I mean, you take recreation. We don't have it in this area. I mean, they have to travel at least 3 miles, 2.5 to 3 miles, play under good supervision, good, clean living supervision, and that means they're in the streets, all right? You turn them loose out in the streets. Mine, and a lot of others around here, we consider pretty good. You turn him out in the street, all right, he's running, he gets tired. He wants to go in his friend's house to get a drink of water. He runs in there, they're broken home there, see. You can't control that. You're not with your child playing. Now, he goes in there, there's the boyfriend, he's in there drunk. There's the mother, she's laying around exposed, so, I mean, what's the kid gonna see? Now, he comes home, he look at you, he wants to ask you a question, he can't answer. He can't ask it right. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to explain something like that. That's his friend. You understand? Not his parents. He's not considered the boy's parents his friend. That boy's his friend. But he has to run up under that. Now, you try to keep him away from that boy so you can run around with this boy. What are you going to create there?
Well, yeah, they do for kicks. They figure, let's go out and do this and that. And if you don't do it, well, then you're just not right. You're a square, and you should get out and enjoy yourself because life is very short, and you're going to get nothing by doing good. And the next thing you know, the kid either takes that chance or else he's out of the gang altogether. And if he's out of the gang, then he ain't got no choice on that street neither, because they're sure to get him one way or another.
How do they get him?
Well, they either nag him to death or else they start pushing him around. If the kid don't defend himself, he's going to get in at the end. Then the next thing you know, he winds up and, well, I might as well just go with the gang because I'm not getting nowhere here.
Well, I had two boys I reared. One is a missionary brother, and my other boy is now going to draftsman school. And the problem that we did, actually, I don't say it's a problem, we had strict discipline, and because of that strict discipline, and we had our boys in Cub Scouting, and we'd take them out of this neighborhood to museum and all the different, a lot of different places other than in this neighborhood. And this is one of the things that we find that our parents don't do. Some children here never leaves this area. And they never leave this area. They don't know anything else but what's in this area. Outside of some children might go to church, and the children that don't go to church don't go anywhere. They're outside of school.
When a parent is responsible, the battle for decency is a tough one. A lot of kids aren't so blessed. I asked a 14-year-old girl what she wanted to be in life. She said she wanted to be just like her old lady. Her old lady was a prostitute. Dad may be in prison or not working, or Dad may be an alcoholic. In those homes, there's no love. If a boy or girl can't find what he or she wants at home, they go somewhere to find it. It may be in the back seat of an automobile. It may be out on a date, or it may be in a gang. You hear of teenage prostitution. A 9-year-old girl making $15 a week. Another girl who claims it's not the money. At least someone wants me, she says. When I have someone's arms around me, at least I feel somebody loves me. The gang becomes the real security. As one fellow said, I know I'm wanted in my group down on River Road. I know they want me. They call for me. They meet me. They encourage me. They entice me. And they force me. But at least I know I'm wanted. What's it like to be a teenager on the North Side?
Well, kids on the North Side need someplace to go. They have to have something to do with themselves. Because if they don't, all they do is hang on the street corners. And that's causing, they drink every Friday and Saturday nights. They get in gang fights. There's too much prostitution going on. A person is not a smoker, so they call chicken. So then you start smoking. Then if person don't shave her legs or anything like that, then they call her chicken for that. So she goes and does it. Then for drinking, if the gang's out drinking or anything, and the girl's standing there and she don't drink, and they say, oh, come on, have a sip or something. And she says, no, I don't like it. And they said, oh, come on, you're chicken. So she goes, okay, just a little bit. So they keep her out, and then maybe she'll end up getting drunk or something. Then after that, she don't know what she's going to do after, what they'll do after she's drunk, because she don't know what she's doing anyway. Or if a girl gets looked down on, the boys say she isn't no good to make time with. When she's out, she don't know what to do or nothing. So she's chicken. She don't pet her, nothing, anything like that. So they call her. They say, oh, come on, everything. You won't be popular if you don't, because everyone's doing it. So you figure everyone else is doing it, so why shouldn't I? So you go on and do it. And some girls end up to be prostitutes or pigs, where we call them.
One of the things I'm concerned about, I wouldn't like for my parents and my sister to go out in the street late at night or early in the morning, because certain people moved in, you know, that other people may trust and know, and I may know them too, but, you know, I don't trust them, because, you know, I trust a person from in the valley more than I would like some of the ones that just floated in over the years. That's put a big influence on the way things have been going on around here.
Well, the gang I lived with, they weren't actually bad. I know they don't swear around the squirrels. They hardly ever drank, except for, we went to a picnic once and we had something to drink, but nobody got to, you know, real drunk or anything. We didn't have that much. But when we went up there every night, and we didn't do nothing. We just sat around and talked, but most of them smoked. That's about all. Well, I know this one gang, they go around, they're boys, and they go around beating up old men, and once they even killed a man, but I wouldn't mention any names. So, I don't know, they just do it, I don't know, just to get money or something like that. I don't really know. After school, a lot of kids would just finish school and get married right away and just live on the North Side just like they did, ending up having a husband that drinks and isn't any good, and having children going around, you know, they don't care. They'll just turn out like their father or something, going around in gangs and drinking and smoking at early age and everything.
If an individual stays here, they won't have nothing. They'll just be the way it was brought up, and just, you know, go on like just flow on through life just by barely getting by. To get ahead, I think you have to leave and go to maybe a community 2 or 3 steps ahead, you know, up or something, where you have some better connections with other people, you know. Because just an immediate community, they couldn't help you very much because there ain't nothing here.
There are good schools on the North Side, but it's a hard, harsh area. Many teachers have difficulty accepting these kids for what they are. It takes a dedicated teacher with fortitude to stick it out. those that do are having an effect on some, giving them something to shoot for beyond a life of welfare and relief. But the forces of degeneration are always at work. For many North Side children, their toughest job is to be clean, honest, and decent. Manchester House provides one center for wholesome recreation, but rows of houses stacked from curb to hilltop leaves the street or the pool hall as the only recreational facilities for most of the people. You hear it over and over. There's nothing to do. Boredom, restlessness, trouble, in that order, as predictable as the tides. It's easy to understand why many North Siders don't look to the police as protectors. To a teenage gang, the policeman represents JC, juvenile court, or Thornhill. The Negro sees a double code of justice. To the policeman, the North Side is a city within a city, but with more than its share of police problems. Too much to patrol, not enough men to do it. That's a story not strange to Pittsburgh. How do the police see the North Side?
Our problems in the North Side area are very similar in nature to problems in other police districts. Nevertheless, the redevelopment that is occurring here has brought on certain changes. We've had redevelopment in the Chateau Street area, around the Allegheny General Hospital, and around the Buell Planetarium, wherein various people have been moved into other districts. Where we've had the changes whereby people of various ethnic groups, various religious groups have moved into areas where people were strange to them and they were strange to other people, there have been social problems. Nevertheless, we've had help from various ministers, various neighborhood councils who have been able to move in and smooth out any troubles that may have occurred. In the Manchester area, where we had a lot of juvenile problems before, we have the Manchester Community Center, where social workers have had a close alliance here with us and have been able to straighten out a lot of problems. We've had a lot of burglaries previously, while redevelopment was going on, whereby people were going into these empty homes, stealing plumbing, setting fires. But now that seems to have alleviated itself since those houses have been torn down. The police problems in North Side are similar to those problems in any other district. There's always more work to be done than we have equipment and men with which to do the job effectively.
You will find a good many churches on the North Side, and a new ministerial association is beginning to mobilize itself into an effective tool. But years of waiting in the pulpit have had their effect.
The churches around here want nothing. I mean, it's the church, but there's nothing going on in our churches.
But there is something going on. Bethany House has become a part of North Side life, not just on Sunday, but 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And 2 ministers are working in the North Side without churches. They walk the streets, meet the people on their own level, offer the help as it's needed, where it's needed. Their pastoral duties cover juvenile court and the neighborhood bar. They work with teenagers who go afoul of the law, get a reformed father out on parole, back with his family, sponsor tutoring programs, help dropouts find their way back. They don't wait in a building for the problems to come to them. They try to meet the people on their own level, accept them as they are, be they involved in robbery, escape from jail, or even murder. The sermon they preach: there are better things in life. There can be escape from the filth and corruption of this environment. Someone is concerned about these people. The walking ministers are doing a job, but they can't do it alone.
Well, I have, as a community leader, I have grand hopes. We have a plan that has been brought forth, and I feel that if we get some recreation, and if we get some help for our unwed mothers, if we get some help with our boys, we get a definite program set up for the boys and the girls that live in this area. If we have a recreational building or a focal point, as I call it a focal point, so that our children would have somewhere to go so that we can present a program that could meet their needs. And we haven't, as present, we have nothing, but I feel that if we had this in this area, at least we would have hope of gaining a program, bringing a program to our people that will fit their needs. The thing that has us bogged down, we don't have a focal point, and we have a lot of different agencies, and none of them actually coordinating together. So this is, to me, is our biggest problem right now.
This is the North Side. We could give it other names, and the story would be much the same. The Hill, Homewood, Brushton. The needs are much the same. Recreation, housing, unemployment, the byproducts of poverty. There's a bridge in Pittsburgh that reaches out from the Golden Triangle, a bridge to nowhere. Almost symbolically, the unfinished span stops, as if it were reluctant to plant its steel feet into the squalor that is the North Side. From my battleground, from my side of the river, I wonder if it will ever bring you and your concern to help us. Will it be a bridge to a brighter future, or simply another bypass of poverty?